The BBC Sound of 2020. The BBC Sound is something that happens every single year. I've paid attention to it since I can remember. Basically, it's the reason I'm talking about this is because it's a good indication of who's going to be playing in festivals this year. But also it's a really interesting reflection on what's to come. There's a whole heap of people. How long have they been doing this now? Since 2003, so they've been doing this for a long time. When we look at bands that have been nominated and have won the BBC Sound, they've gone on to do amazing things. And some of them are really popular, some of them are not so popular. But they're always a good reference for the zeitgeist of music, and I think that they're also, it's a really good indication of what's on trend. So, the way this works is, every single year, the BBC get a collection of pundits together from the music industry, and they say, who's your tip for 2020? Let's just have a quick look, and it says, I'm just on the website here so I can read literally about it all. And so they're selected from a group of pundits. These pundits are artists, they're broadcasters, they're tastemakers, they're editors for magazines. We'll go through some of those in a minute. And what they do is they tip for who's going to be big in 2020. There's no predetermined list, so they just go, "Oh, Jeff, what's your tip for the next year?" They don't have to have been signed. They don't have to have anything. And in terms of where they can be in their career, artists from any musical genre and country are eligible. Whether or not they're signed, they must not have been the lead artist in a UK top 10 album and no more than one UK top 10 single by mid-October and not already widely known in the UK general public. Well, that's something that's harder to quantify, but basically they can't be big. They can't release an album. So, who are deciding this? We've got a list of 168 pundits. I've got a list of people that I kind of recognise here. A lot of them are radio DJs. And not just BBC, you also have people from Radio X. You also have people like Julia Denuga, who represents Apple Music and Beats One. But let's just have a quick look. So we've got Julia Denuga's from Apple Music, a whole heap of Radio 1 and Radio 2 DJs, including people like Zoe Ball, Joe Wiley, Greg James, Hugh Stevens, Annie Mac, Phil Taggart, those kind of guys. And also you have producers of those shows as well. So, for example, you've got Chris Sawyer, who is the producer of Greg James's show. But then you get people from other kind of music outlets, like Boiler Room. You've got from there, they have got Jasmine Sri, who is the musical programmer. You've got Emma Swan, who's the founding editor of DIY Magazine. Stephen Ackroyd, the editor of Dork Magazine. Tom Baker, the founder of Field Day Festival, along with Emily Evis, who is obviously the festival booker for Glastonbury. And what I find really interesting on here as well is you've got people who are like, you've got Azri Eftahaki, who's the head of music label relations for YouTube Music, and David Mongendorf, who is the artist services for EMEA for YouTube Music. People like Spotify, you've got the musical editor for The Big Issue. So we've got a really rounded kind of collection of people. On top of that, they've also got a few artists this year, including Lewis Capaldi, Churches, and Billie Eilish. And what they all do is they go, who do you think is going to be big? They put them all into a big pool of people, and they then select a top 10. So once they've got their top 10, they then put a vote out to all 168 pundits, and they say, the pundits vote by email, choosing their 3 favourite new acts in order of preference. There's only one panel of voters and only one round of voting. The 3 nominations from each of the pundits on the panel are counted, with the pundit's favourite artist getting 3 points, the second getting 2, and the third getting 1. So it's kind of tiered, which makes sense. In the event of 2 artists getting the same amount of points, the order is decided by which artist has had the most votes as a pundit's first choice. So even though it's 3 points, it still has more weight than if it only has 1 point. Blah, 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 blah. Only a short list of the top 5 artists announced in January 2020 is listed in order by points scored. The artists placed 6 to 10 are listed alphabetically. So what then happens is that, I think it's like the first week that everyone's back, probably Greg James will be talking about it, they will announce who was the hottest artist at number 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, on the Monday, ending on the Friday. Previous artists are huge. So if we go back to the 2020s, the winner of 2003 was 50 Cent. Now 2003 was huge. Also in the lineup, Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Dizzy Rascal, Audio Bullies, Interpol, Sean Paul. 2004, Keane, Franz Ferdinand, Wiley, Razorlight, Jocelyn McFly, Scissor Sisters, The Ordinary Boys, Tali and Gemma Fox. 2005, The Bravery won it. That's a shocker because they only had 2 good songs. And Block Party are my favourite band. But in that year, you also had Kano, The Game, Kate Tunstall, Kaiser Chiefs, Tom Veck, The Magic Numbers. 2006, Corinne Bailey Rae. A bit of a slower one that year. Plan B's pretty big. Guillemots were quite big at the time. Chris Brown, Sway, not a lot of other people. 2007, Mika won and had a massive year. Also on that list were the Twang Klaxons and Shikari, Cold War Kids, Just Jack, who I loved. 2008, you had Adele, right? So we're getting a bit bigger now. Duffy, Ting Tings, Las Vegas, Foals and Vampire Weekend. Black Kids, MGMT, Santi Gold. 2009, Little Boots. Where's Little Boots now? But you also have people like White Lies, Empire of the Sun. In the same year, you had Florence and the Machine, LaRue, and Lady fucking Gaga. 2010s, I'm just going to go through some of the other big ones now. Ellie Goulding won in 2010. 2011, Jessie J, Michael Kiwanuka in 2012. 2013, HAIM, Sam Smith, Years and Years, Jack Garrett, Ray Black, Sigrid, and Octavian won last year. Also nominated last year, King Princess, Grace Carter, Slow Tie, Rosilia, Dermot Kennedy, LMA, Flohio, Seagirls, and Mahalia. We talked about Flohio recently and how they've got a really cool name. 2020. Who has been announced so far? In alphabetical order, we have Arlo Parks, Biba Doobie, Celeste, Easy Life, Georgia, Inhaler, Joseph, Joy Crooks, Squid, and Youngblood. Now, I have done WTF videos for Youngblood and Georgia. I'm a big advocate of Inhaler. Inhaler is led by Bono's son, for those that don't know, but are an amazing, amazing band. I really like them. They're going to be huge at festivals this year. Easy Life, I've been a fan of for a while as well, and BBDB I like as well. I think that they're great. Listening through what they've been discussing and the kind of trailer they've put through for this, I really love Squid as well. I'm shocked that there's no hip hop. Nothing. No hip hop. There's no like grime. There's no American rappers. Nothing. Arlo Parks, kind of like R&B-esque. Biba Doobie, definitely not a rapper. Celeste, not a rapper. Easy Life, you could argue there's like a rap to his flow, but I think it's probably more like Jamie T than I would say hip hop. Georgia is an electric pop star. Inhaler, a band. Joseph, not a rapper. Joy Crooks, not a rapper. Squid are an art pop band. And Youngblood is, well, I guess he tries to rap a bit, but it's not hip hop. So I'm really, really, really shocked that nothing has been announced hip hop wise. That's a real shocker for me because they've been so prominent in previous years, and to not have anything is just a bit weird. So I wonder whether One Extra will do something separate or not. Maybe. But my problem with this is Youngblood must only just be allowed in that list because Youngblood is huge. We played in the middle of the day on the Sunday at Reading this year on the fucking main stage. He worked with Halsey and Travis Barker. He's personally put in that spot by Dave Grohl. The man is not like that new. Like the hype around Youngblood is already huge. So I'm shocked that he doesn't have, does he not have an album out? I'm sure he has an album out. How odd. 21st Century Liability, which came out in July 2018. I guess it just didn't peak, so it doesn't count. But the man is massive, huge. There we go. That's why you're allowed one top 10 single, which Underrated Youth was. And also, hang about. 11 Minutes of Halsey was not that big over here. But it went to number 5 in America. It went gold. It went gold in Canada and America. I'm not sure about that. And I think I'm okay with Travis Barker and Machine Gun Kelly. Also went gold and got to number 4. Original Me went to number 7 in America. I don't know. There's something about Youngblood being featured on The Sound Of which doesn't feel very fair because he's already bigger. Everyone else on that list, I completely respect, and I believe that people aren't aware about Inhaler. I believe that Georgia is at the top end of that. Easy Life, pretty new. BBDB, pretty new. All that kind of stuff, wicked, great. That's what The Sound Of is about. but Youngblood doesn't sit well with me. And the worst part is, it's very clear to me that he is going to win. I will be very shocked if he doesn't come first, but I guess stranger things have happened. Like, what was the year which was a real shocker? Florence and the Machine coming third and Little Boots coming number 1. Lady Gaga coming 6th. Anyway, what's your thoughts on the BBC Sound of 2020? How many of those artists do you know? What are your favourite songs by them? I really do try and get into each one of the artists as much as I can, but I don't know a lot about some of them. But I know more than I ever have before, I would say. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. What do you think about it? Is it fair? Do you think that Youngblood deserves to be on that list? Is he too big? And what's going on with the lack of hip hop? Come on, BBC. It's the Badman Broadcasting Company. Why is there no hip hop? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. I love hearing from you guys. And yeah, share any of your thoughts with me. Who else are you excited to see in 2020 release an album? Sports teams up there for me. Why are they not on that list? If I don't see you before, have yourself a lovely Christmas. And I hope that we get some more festival news so I can start making more videos. Cheers. Bye.